Welcome back. Teddyson John is continuing to churn out hits, his latest being X Games. He officially released the track on Hot FM this week. The accompanying music video saw Teddyson John stepping out of his comfort zone and usual vibe.
Take that chance. He's exited. He's non-existent. He's been exhausted. Let's exhale together. No more X Games. Those are some of the lyrics by Teddyson John from his latest single, X Games. The song was officially released on St. Lucia's #1 most listened to radio station, Hot FM, this week. John, or TJ as he's known, says the song speaks to a very real and common relationship issue.
X Games for me. A lot of people go through relationships before. And sometimes they get messed up in these relationships. And then they take the baggage from that relationship and bring it over to the new one. And allow a good person to probably pay for the mistakes of what the other person did. So X Games is telling you, don't make me pay for your X Games. I think the writing on that was very good. Want to big up Jeremy for doing that with me. Want to big up Private Ryan, also for, allowing us to vibe,
The multifaceted vocalist says he did things differently with the music video for this latest song.
This year, something strange happened. Logo, I want to big up Logo on that, and Logo told me, Teddy, you need to come out of that comfort, zone. So it was actually my first, internationally shot video, where it was nothing Caribbean. You understand? We shot that in Toronto at the Ripley's Aquarium. We did that in the games room, which was across the street, which is owned by Ripley's as well. Check out the video and you will see it. It was a different kind of vibe. It was cold in Toronto. You understand? So we had a blast doing it. So I want to thank Logo. You understand? I want to thank Letitia Williams, which was the lead lady in the music video. And we just had an amazing time.
John also has another track in the works with Vincentian soca superstar Skinny Fabulous.
We have something coming. This week. Yes, it's going to be with Mr. Skinny Fabulous himself from St. Vincent. This one is that one is a power. So we got Skinny involved. It's actually produced by Moto and Private Ryan. You understand? So that was something that was amazing. It's on the Rose Gold rhythm. You understand? And that's going to be coming at the end of the week. So make sure you check it out for that.
John capped off a remarkable 2019 season with an International Soca Award in Miami in October. He also became the first St. Lucian to place second in the soca competition dubbed Fantastic Friday in Trinidad back in March.
St. Lucians from all walks of life marched Tuesday in support of people with disabilities. Parliamentarians from both sides of the political divide put their differences aside and came together to march hand in hand with disabled students from the island schools. Jacques Wooding tells us more.
The International Day of Disabled Persons focused on the empowerment of persons with disabilities for inclusive, equitable, and sustainable development, as anticipated in the 2030 Agenda for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet says his administration is working feverishly to adopt the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, with new policies soon to be brought to the House. Chastanet says help is on the way for persons with physical, mental, and even economic disabilities.
So we'll be coming to the House in order to be able to institutionalize the rights for disabled people. The disabilities are multiple, meaning that you can have a physical disability, a mental disability, or an economic disability. My government is very focused on being able to help all those causes. It's a difficult task, but one that we must commit to. We must make sure that anybody with disabilities does not feel disenfranchised by the system.
Chastanet says it is most notable that both sides of the political divide came together in support of such a worthy cause. MP for Castries South, Ernest Hilaire, reflected these views, commending fellow parliamentarians on their commitment to the needs of the public.
I think it's excellent as parliamentarians. It is our role to join in raising the level of consciousness of the society on initiatives like this, and I think we should commend the Parliament, the Speaker and the staff for ensuring that all parliamentarians, certainly in the lower house, are part of this initiative.
The walk concluded with a fair at Constitution Park, where MP for Castries South East, Guy Joseph, spoke out for the need for greater inclusion within the workplace.
It is important for inclusion. And as a young nation, we have seen that we are making some strides in the direction of inclusion of persons who are differently able. But we are still a very long way. So as we did the walk today, we realized that the access that is needed for those persons who are differently able is still challenging. We realize that the inclusion of those persons in the workforce is still very limited.
Joseph envisions that political affiliations will continue to be left out through the adoption of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. For 7 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
Thank you, Jacques. Minister for Agriculture Ezekiel Joseph says a location has been identified for the construction of a new meat processing facility. He says that though grant funding of $12 million has been obtained from the DSH investor, new analysis has proven that the funding received would be insufficient to undergo construction at this time.
Unfortunately, the new facility will cost about $15 million. And the Prime Minister has agreed that he would meet the shortfall in the new financial year. We have identified a location in Lakai Dennery where the Pig Farmers Association did indicate to us that that's the location that he will feel comfortable with.
Joseph says all other documentation and processes required for the new construction of the facility has thus far been completed and approved. He appeals to farmers to bear patience with the administration. The final phase of the competitiveness agenda for St. Lucia was completed at the end of November, with the final document to be presented in December 2019 for implementation in 2020. The competitiveness agenda focuses on St. Lucia's comparative advantage and the strategic actions required to create a competitive advantage for the island. The agenda is spearheaded by the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council with funding from Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility. More in this report from Glenn Simon.
The National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, NCPC, was established with the mandate to provide solutions to government and other stakeholders on issues pertaining to competitiveness and productivity on island. As such, the NCPC has embarked on the creation of a competitiveness agenda to boost St. Lucia's economic growth, increase diversity and availability of jobs, increase access to finance, among many other areas, to create a competitive advantage for St. Lucia. Financing the agenda is Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility. Dr. Kyron Swift is the project development consultant with Compete Caribbean.
The competitiveness agenda really helps zero in and focus on the areas of strength, of comparative advantage that St. Lucia has, and then identifies the specific priority actions that need to be taken to really hone and refine those areas to a particular competitive advantage that will allow St. Lucia to compete with similar countries who are operating in its space, that is, for this purpose, largely the tourism and services space, and that will also really put it on a firm ground for continued growth, continued generation of jobs, revenues, and exports.
Dr. Swift added that the competitiveness agenda will provide a mechanism for coordinating and monitoring the various activities, with key stakeholders playing a vital role in fostering synergies for increased information sharing to arrive at the common goal of a more competitive St. Lucia. Director of the NCPC, Fiona Hinkson, noted that the NCPC will play a central role in bringing stakeholders together.
The NCPC is expected to be the central coordinating body for the agenda. We will be working with key stakeholders or key agencies that will be implementing the complex agenda. So although we are coordinating agencies in government like possibly Export St. Lucia, Invest St. Lucia, as well as the Department of Commerce, amongst other agencies, will be the implementers for the agenda.
Compete Caribbean has pledged continued assistance to the NCPC in the implementation phase of the competitiveness agenda.
So, to put it in numerical terms, we have just under, I would say, 100,000 US of technical assistance still available to be provided, and the express purpose of that is just as you put it, hand-holding the agency, starting with the NCPC, as we move forward into what are you going to specifically do next week, following week, next quarter, next 6 months, and so on, to bring the agenda to life, till it reaches a point where it develops its own momentum and can keep going. But we're not there yet, so that's what the focus is going to be in terms of the early stages of implementation.
The NCPC aims to create a competitiveness index to measure the agenda's performance, while benchmarking St. Lucia's performance against that of other regional territories. The competitiveness agenda utilizes a smart specialization approach and focuses on St. Lucia's tourism industry and the competitive advantages and opportunities which can be explored and further developed. For the National Competitiveness and Productivity Council, Glenn Simon reporting.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. Sports and weather are all coming up next.